what is the price of the wind? For a sailor, it is everything. The difference between profit and ruin, between life and death. But what if you could stop begging the wind and start commanding it? What if you could hear its secrets, ride its whispers to lands unknown in half the time? This is the story of a man who learned the language of the air, and the terrible, silent truth he discovered: the wind does not speak for free. It speaks because it is hungry. And it is always, always listening for a new voice to join its chorus. Mqhawe was the youngest captain of the coastal trade route to ever command a dhow like the swift current. He was talented, but impatient. His rival, the veteran Captain Mqhawe of the Iron Wave, always seemed to catch the favorable tides, leaving Mqhawe eating his wake in his profits. During a run to the Spice Islands, a squall caught Mqhawe in open water. It was a killer storm. As his ship groaned, about to be swallowed, he did not pray to the ancestors. In his desperation, he shouted into the screaming wind, not a plea, but a challenge. "You want a song? I'll give you one. Just show me your face." And the wind shifted. Not away, but in. It poured into his ears, his mouth, his lungs. And in that roaring chaos, he heard a voice. Not one voice. 1,000 whispers, layered over each other, the last words of drowned sailors, the sighs of lost explorers, the mournful cries of seabirds from millennia past. It was the chorus of the lost air. And in the center of that chorus, a single, clear, ancient voice spoke to him. A song for a guide. A breath for a breath. Sing to us, little throat. And we will carry you. Gasping, Mqhawe didn't understand the words, but he felt the bargain. He opened his mouth and sang. Not a sailing shanty, but a raw, wordless cry of his own fear, his ambition, his life. He sang his song into the storm. The winds coiled around his ship like a protective serpent. They carved a path through the towering waves. The swift current shot through the eye of the storm, untouched, and emerged into clear weather leagues ahead of where it should have been. Mqhawe had not survived. He had cheated. Back in the port of Kwamwaya, the city of wind, his survival was a miracle. But Mqhawe knew the truth. He had made a deal. And he intended to make more. He began to experiment. Standing at the prow in a dead calm, he would hum the tune of his desperate storm song. A breeze would tickle the sails. He would sing a verse of his grandfather's grief song, and a gust would push them forward. He had learned to ride the whispers. He became the wind rider. His voyages became legendary. 2-week journeys took 5 days. He could slip through doldrums where other ships sat for weeks. His wealth exploded. Captain Mqhawe, baffled and envious, could only watch. But the cost began, as it always does, with a subtle change. Mqhawe found he could no longer stand absolute silence. On land, the quiet of his own house became oppressive. He needed the constant murmur of the wind. His skin grew dry, perpetually chapped. His voice developed a permanent, faint rasp, like breeze over sand. Then came the cravings. He lost his taste for solid food. He craved the sharp, clean taste of rain on the air, the metallic tang of distant lightning. He would stand on deck for hours, mouth open, as if feeding. His first mate, a loyal and observant man named the Bang, grew concerned. "Captain, you're fading. You look thin. Like mist." Mqhawe laughed it off. "I'm just married to the wind, the Bang. It's a passionate affair." But an old ropemaker on the docks, Gogo Noma, who smelled of tar and ancient knowledge, saw him pass and grabbed his arm. Her grip was iron. "I hear a new voice on the wind," she hissed, her eyes clouded but seeing too much. A young, proud voice singing a stolen song. "The Moya Omnima, the dark air, has a new pet. You are not riding it, boy. You are being played as its flute. And flutes are empty things. When it has learned all your songs, what will be left of you to sing? Mqhawe dismissed the old woman as a superstitious crank. He was invincible. But the wind began to make new demands. It was no longer satisfied with his songs of fear or ambition. It wanted stories. It wanted secrets. One night, during a difficult passage, the wind stalled. No amount of singing would move it. Frustrated, Mqhawe shouted, "What do you want?" The whisper in his mind was clear. The mate's secret. The one that burns in his chest. Sing that. The Bang, his first mate, had a secret grief. He had accidentally caused his brother's death as a boy, a burden he'd never shared. Mqhawe didn't know the details, but the wind did. It had heard the unspoken guilt in the man's heartbeat for years. Torn, but desperate to keep his advantage, Mqhawe did the unthinkable. He stood at the prow and, weaving words the wind fed him, began to sing a lament that was unmistakably Thabang's. He sang of a boy, a cliff, a pushed rock, a silent river below. On deck, the Bang froze, his face a mask of horror and betrayal. The secret was out, carried on the wind to the entire crew. And the sails billowed with a victorious, gale-force gust. The ship surged forward. The Bang didn't speak to him again. He left the ship at the next port, a broken man. Mqhawe had paid the wind's price with another man's soul. And he liked the speed. The wind had taught him a terrible lesson. The more intimate the song, the stronger the breeze. He began to hunt for secrets. He would listen to drunken confessions in port taverns, to lovers' quarrels, to the whispered prayers of the dying. He collected them like coins. And he spent them on the wind. His body continued to change. He became lighter, as if his bones were hollowing. His footsteps made no sound. In certain lights, he seemed slightly transparent. The final warning came from Captain Mqhawe himself. Not out of rivalry, but out of a sailor's dread. He cornered Mqhawe in a tavern. "I don't know what pact you've made, Mqhawe, but the sea is talking. My lookouts see your ship moving when there is no wind. Fish die in your wake. The very birds avoid your mast. You are not a sailor anymore. You are a curse moving over the water. The old stories say the dark air collects voices. It turns men into echoes. You are becoming a memory of yourself, sung by the wind long after you're gone." Mqhawe, now more wind than man in his heart, sneered. "You're just slow, old man. And the world belongs to the fast." But that night, the wind demanded its ultimate payment. Mqhawe was in a dead zone, a stretch of ocean known as the Silent Trench, where even the wind's spirits feared to go. His ship was motionless. He sang every secret he had left. Nothing. Then, the chorus spoke, its voice a dry, endless rustle. "We have all your songs. We have all your secrets. To pass this place, you need a new song. A song you do not yet know. The song of your own ending. Sing us your death, Wind Rider. Let us hear how it sounds." It wanted him to sing his own mortality. To give it the blueprint of his demise. In doing so, he would be authorizing it, inviting it, gifting it to the wind. Terrified for the first time since the original storm, Mqhawe refused. The wind went from a whisper to a vacuum. It didn't blow. It sucked. It began to pull the very air from his lungs, the warmth from his body. He was drowning on dry deck. The wind was calling in its final loan, the breath it had lent him. In his agony, he did the only thing he could think of. He didn't sing his own death. He reached out with his wind-attuned senses, a violation deeper than any before, and he grasped for the darkest, most terrible secret he could feel on the edge of the horizon. He sensed another ship. Captain Mqhawe's iron wave. And in Mqhawe's heart, a secret not of guilt, but of a dark, triumphant deed, a murder of a rival long ago, buried beneath a lifetime of respectable command. Mqhawe stole it. And with his last breath, he sang Mqhawe's murder into the silent air. On the swift current, a wind filled with the scent of old blood and betrayal slammed into the sails, howling with glee. The ship shot forward, escaping the silent trench. But on the iron wave, miles away, hell broke loose. The moment Mqhawe sang that stolen secret, the wind around Mqhawe's ship turned sentient and vengeful. It wasn't just air, it was now imbued with the psychic residue of the murdered man's final moments. It shrieked the details of the crime into the ears of Mqhawe's horrified crew. It took the shape of swirling fog that looked like the dead rival's face. It whispered the truth to the man's grieving family, who were inexplicably dreaming the same dream on shore. Mqhawe, exposed and haunted, watched his crew mutiny, his legacy unravel in a single, supernatural gust. The wind Mqhawe had ridden to safety was a wind of pure, personalized ruin for another. Mqhawe made it to port, a ghost of a man. But the wind was not done. It had tasted a new kind of song, not just secret pain, but secret evil. It found it delicious. And it now knew Mqhawe could find more. "You are our hound now," the chorus whispered, a sound of infinite, dry hunger. "Sniff out the hidden sins. The buried hatreds. Sing them to us. And we will make you king of all the seas. Refuse. And we will sing the song of your betrayal to the first mate. To the old rope maker. To every ear in this city." He was trapped. He had become a broker for the wind, trading in mortal sins for speed. His body was now barely solid. He cast no shadow. His reflection in water was a shimmer of mist. Mqhawe is still seen in Kwamoya. He owns many ships now, all frighteningly fast. But he never goes to sea himself. He can't. The wind on the open ocean would unravel him completely. He stays in his high tower, where the wind constantly blows, and he listens. He listens to the city's secrets, its lies, its crimes. And when the wind grows hungry, he sings a quiet, terrible verse from his window. And somewhere, a ship bearing his flag catches an impossible breeze, while somewhere else, a life is destroyed by a sudden, whispering truth. Gogo Noma, the rope maker, says the wind doesn't sound right anymore. It carries too many voices, too many regrets. She says Mqhawe is no longer a man, but a living windsock, pointing the way to human failing for a thing that feeds on it. And Captain Mqhawe? He was found dead in a locked room, a look of terror on his face, the room filled with a still, suffocating silence, the only gift a sated wind leaves behind. Mqhawe sought to master the wind and became its slave. He wanted to be the fastest sailor alive, and now he cannot sail at all. He trades in secrets, a currency that costs others everything. The wind no longer whispers. It gossips. And he is its town crier. So, what do you think? Was Mqhawe a victim of a desperate bargain, or did his ambition make him a perfect vessel for corruption? Is the power to unveil hidden truths a gift or the most terrible curse of all? Let me know in the comments below. This is the Windrider's bargain. The chorus is hungry. Mqhawe is its prisoner. And the wind is always listening for the next dark secret to sing. Make sure you are subscribed and the bell is turned on. Until next time, be careful what you sing into the storm. The wind never forgets a tune.